week's episode of One Piece, a man has fallen from the sky. Nay, a bomb has officially been dropped. You know what? Scratch that. An epic Earth-destroying monster has just collided with the One Piece world, and his name is Kaido. Without a doubt, this is easily the most refreshing episode of the entire Dressrosa arc, and that's because we go to a brand new location with Sanji, Nami, Brook, Chopper, and we also get to see the formal introduction of Kaido, one of the frickin' 4 emperors. Yeah, and this is no hyperbole, but his entrance in this week's episode is pretty damned legendary. But before we get to that, let's talk about some of the other big events in this week's episode of One Piece. We immediately pick up from last week's episode where Sabo had just got done telling his story all about his amnesia, learning about Ace, and that's pretty much the end of that. All the other Straw Hat crew members are getting ready to take a nap, with Kyros getting ready to walk off and deliver some sort of mysterious letter. We'll pick up on that in a couple of episodes. Right after that, we finally get to see some other big events which have been going down. We finally go back to Sanji, Nami, Brook, and Chopper, and Momonosuke, and we get to see the crazy adventure that they're going on after dodging frickin' Big Mom and all of her candy-eyed pirates, and they eventually end up on the island of Zou, which is going to be a very important location in the next arc of the series. The island itself is very interesting. It looks sort of like a typical jungle, but it does have some distinctiveness to it. One being that they have these big trees which are completely circular. The ground itself seems a little unusually rocky, almost as if the island itself is a living creature. It's really, really strange, wink wink. And then of course there's also this giant geyser which just has all of the seawater explode into the frickin' island. It's ridiculous, it's over the top, but it's gonna be one hell of a cool setting for the next arc of the series. And Nami and Sanji and their group are already having a tough time on this island because, one, they've been separated, and Sanji, unfortunately, is hanging out with Caesar Clown. However, the scene is good here because at least we get to see Sanji kick him in the balls. On the other side of the island, you have Nami, Brook, Chopper, and Momonosuke, who are running away from these horned villains who go by the name of Sheepshead and Jin Rummy. And they're riding around on this big, fat crocodile with a twirly tail, and basically they are just trying to kill these guys with everything they have. These are basically the guards or the warriors who belong to Kaido's group, and this leads to a great action scene where suddenly all of this water explodes from this mountain, starts washing everything away. So Chopper, Brook, Momonosuke are pretty much useless here because it's seawater, and Nami is forced to have to try and save them as they attach themselves to this tree, when suddenly they're attacked by Sheepshead. Brook manages to be really awesome right here by actually deflecting the attack and even using one of his ice abilities, but unfortunately it's not enough to stop Sheepshead because he has these really crazy abilities where his arms transform into ram horns. Yeah, that's pretty freaking weird, but suddenly as Brook is attacking him, Sanji emerges from the sky like a badass and delivers one awesome kick to the face, taking this guy out in a flurry of fire. That's just the beginning of the cool action this week. We get to see that Jin Rummy makes a quick escape with the other Kaido pirates, and that's when we get to the big event of this week's episode. We go to Kid Eustace's hideout. All the pirates are there having a good time, drinking beer. Nothing bad's gonna happen today, until suddenly this massive explosion just appears on the island. And you're left to be wondering, what the hell is going on? So Basil Hawkins, Scratchman Apu, and Kid go out and they see this massive crater, which is in the shape of a large human with horns. We then go back in time a few minutes to that scene where Aruge was also seeing this big shadowed guy with horns, and at first I thought maybe they're going to have a confrontation with this character, maybe they're going to fight. No, this guy right here is actually Kaido. This is our first introduction to him, and what an introduction it is. Basically, they let you know that this guy is unkillable. He's been captured many times. They've tried to kill him in a number of different ways. I love the way they describe that too. Spears can't pierce him. He can't be hung because the chains are going to break, and a freaking guillotine shattered on this dude's neck. Only like Chuck Norris is capable of that shit. Scratch that, Chuck Norris and Kung Fury. And Kaido himself is so ridiculously powerful that he can't even kill himself. He jumps off of this balloon-filled island, falls into the frickin' hideout of Kid and his other pirates, and then emerges like a monster from hell in one of the coolest entrances I've seen from the series, constantly covered in shadow, just waiting to finally see this guy. And when you do, holy crap, he's awesome looking. He basically looks like a more human version of Oars or Oars Jr., especially with the horns. But he's definitely human. He's really pissed off. He has these really cool tattoos that are going up all the way across his arm, and it looks like he's anxious for a war with Joker and the rest of his followers. Basically, he's real pissed off about all of the events which took place after the end of Dressrosa, and they also heavily imply that he is the strongest character in the entire series. Physically speaking, this might be the most powerful character in the One Piece universe. Hell, when he screams, just his yell manages to create this shockwave, which has all of these explosions appear on the Kid Island. Just what a great introduction to such a metal character! So what's the rundown on this week's episode of One Piece? If I could describe this week's episode in one word, it would be refreshing. And that's of course because we've been at the Dressrosa arc for such a long time, nearly 2 freaking years, and to finally go to a new location and to see new characters is just awesome. The island of Zou is really great. It's going to be a fantastic setting for the next arc of the series, and for those who only watch the anime, you're going to be very surprised. There were a lot of hints in this episode that I really liked too. Keen-eyed viewers will also notice that there was another new character who was introduced in this week's episode on the island of Zou. After Sanji and Brook got done fighting with Sheepshead and Jin Rummy ran away, there was this other mysterious character who was peeking behind a tree. We'll get to them a little bit later. What I will say is they're going to be fantastic, and I cannot wait to see them in action. Essentially, they are the natives of the island of Zou, and the island of Zou itself is a mystery just by itself, so I cannot wait to see how they're going to show that off in the anime when they finally show you what the entire island is all about. But this week's episode, I'm sure, is going to be definitely remembered for the introduction of Kaido, which had some fantastic animation behind it, especially when he finally started to erupt from that crater that he actually created himself with his very own body, and you could just feel the fear from every single character. Like, Basil Hawkins even looked like he was gonna shit his pants, and he's a character who tends to keep his composure. But of course, Scratchman Apu and Kid Eustace are just flipping the hell out. You can even tell they're like, oh man, we need to back the hell off. We were ready to go and take on Shanks, but the minute Kaido appears, screw that. Is Kaido really the strongest character in the One Piece universe? I'm not sure if I want to believe it quite yet, but they're making a really good case for it. His introduction was just so damn awesome. I love that they actually went back in time and you got to see him falling in the sky. The distant shot of him hitting the island is crazy. It literally looks like a bomb just flying right into the island. And the fact that he has like no damage on his body, aside from just some superficial scratches and being covered in dirt, that is insane. I really can't wait to see how they're actually going to be able to combat this guy, and even worse, if he can use hockey, like armament hockey, and there's like a 100% chance that he can, he is going to be incredibly destructive. Who knows, maybe he has some other crazy abilities we don't know about, maybe some devil fruit abilities. We're just going to have to wait and see. All I know is this guy is really freaking awesome. His minions are also really cool and well designed and very distinctive. Sheepshead and Jin Rummy were awesome. I also loved the introduction of Sheepshead and him using his powers. That is something they will start to reveal a little bit more. A lot of Kaido's goons have some similar abilities to that, but they haven't really explained them too much in the manga version either, so I can't wait to see how that's going to unfold in the anime version. That being said, this was a great episode of One Piece, pretty damn legendary in the introduction of some fantastic characters. It also helped that this week's episode just looked really nice, good animation, good artwork, and just a fresh location. So, awesome episode of One Piece. I absolutely loved it. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. This was a super memorable episode and one that all One Piece fans should definitely check out. But if any of you guys watched this week's episode of One Piece, make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comment section below. Do you believe that Kaido is the strongest being in the One Piece universe? What did you think of the introduction of that character? Do you like the island of Zou? How long do you think it's going to take for Luffy and his crew to reunite with the other Straw Hats? And what do you want to see from the rest of the One Piece anime series? Please tell me in the comment section below. You guys are kick-ass. Thank you for watching this review. I really appreciate it. And if you would like to help support the channel, please share this video with all of your friends. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you'll be able to see all of our latest anime and manga reviews as they are released. You guys can also follow us on social media, and you should check out our weekly podcast show. You can find all that crap in the description box below. So thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby.